Yeah, one game really comes to my mind. It was my first year when I was pro, but it's much harder when you actually get to the point that you start playing, and then you have to provide for the team, and you have to learn how you can be effective in the minutes you get, even though you're getting little minutes. Playing good defense, pressing the ball, getting the rebounds, crushing the ball every single time. Talking. So those are the things that will get you on the floor. I mean, my first goal was to get to the States and play at the college level, and this goal didn't go that well. I didn't get a chance to go there and play.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Basketball Body and Mind. Today's episode is a bit special. It's a recording that I made a year ago, long before this podcast existed. Originally, this video was created for my online clients, but I decided to share it with you because it has so many valuable lessons. While it doesn't have the usual structure of our podcast, the main idea remains the same: to train your basketball body and mind. Our guest is my good friend Juraj Lastic, a professional basketball player from Slovakia with inspiring journey. Juraj has played for Slovakian youth national teams and was recognized as the 3x3 basketball player of the 2023 for Slovakia. However, or I should say, although, like many players, he dreamed of playing basketball in the USA, but the dreams didn't come true. However, Juraj's story is a testament to resilience and adaptation. When one door closes, another opens. He has found great success playing professionally, proving that you never really know where life will take you. But with the right mindset, it can turn out better than you expect. So, without further ado, let's dive into this conversation with Juraj Lastic.
I'll hit record right here because you are already sharing things that you say. I moved out of my parents, and tell you moved from Slovakia to Czech Republic to GBA, and tell that couple of first week that you just wanted to share with me.
No, it was terrible experience. My first night was probably the worst. I remember this. I texted my parents like, I'm not sure if I can handle this, and then because they were still there, they were in Czech with me for like first week. They kind of took it as a holiday, so I stay with them. The next day I talk to them, and they say like, we're gonna be fine if you just decide to leave and go back with us, but you have to think about if this is what you want to do in your life, and if yes, this is the next step for you. Like you have to be independent, know how to live on your own, and it's part of life also. So I kind of went through those rough weeks, but I also had really many great people around me, so they really helped a lot with it, with being this not being for this not being as hard as it probably would be for me if I wouldn't have them. And when I got back from GBA after 2 years, I transferred to being a pro, and the transition by meaning living by my own and taking care of myself food wise, and like washing my own stuff, cooking for myself, it wasn't that hard if I would go straight away from home. So I was kind of already know what I'm supposed to do when I'm by myself. But it's not that hard when you are either if I when I was in Czech or when I was in Slovakia. My parents always show support to me. They will always come to the games, come just for the weekend, just to stay with me. Right now this season, I don't think they missed any games. I think they've been in every single one. And then when you have this big of a support, it really don't feel like you are away from home, because basically you see the people that are closest to you every single week at least, and then you have time to chat with them after the game, and it kind of brings you the home to where you at the time at that time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing that you said at the beginning, you said your parents gave you a chance. You said, "Hey, if you are going home with us after that week together, that when you came to GBA, you guys spent 1 week together just for you to get the rhythm, get going like step by step." And our parents said, like, "Hey, you can go with us home. Like, if you want to be a quitter, you can quit right now, you know?" I'm happy to see that you didn't quit.
Yeah. I mean, it always was about the goal. Like, was the goal for me, and then I always wanted to play basketball, and it kind of is part of my life. So it was an easy decision, but it was
When,
hard.
uh-huh,
Yep.
when was
Go ahead. Go
hard?
ahead. It was hard to accept that right now the life is gonna change completely for me.
Yes. So what age did you start playing basketball? Did you do any other sports?
I know I was playing basketball since maybe 8, so it will be 15 years in couple months.
Yes.
So it's a long time.
And when did you decide that? Because like GBA is, if somebody doesn't know, GBA is like a better academy in Czech Republic that trains basketball players to go either pro, or young basketball players to go either pro or to colleges. But when did you decide that you are serious about basketball and you want to go either pro or like GBA or college, whatever?
I think it was when I was 15, 16. That was the time when I met one coach uh, during the summer. He was training me individually, and he kind of took care of me.
Individually skills or strength
Yeah,
conditioning?
yes, skills,
Okay.
like basketball wise.
Yes.
And I sat with him and we talked for a couple hours. And he asked me this question, like if I am, and I also was there with my parents, and they were also listening to this conversation. And he asked me if I want to, what I want to do with basketball, and then from that point, I told him like that's my dream to be a pro, to basically to basketball to me by job. So from that point, I just started working like a pro from that day on.
From that day on, how many times you wanted to quit since age 15?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think zero. I,
Zero.
I, I don't think I have the decision that I don't want to play basketball. Maybe last season we had a really bad coach, but I wasn't like I want to quit, but I have this feeling that the practices were really at a low level, and I really didn't want to go to practice at that time. It was like 2-3 months span, and then eventually they cut the coach and then they bring the new man. So it just all went away with him, you know.
Have you had doubts in you, like since age 15, or maybe the last season, for example, that, hey, I don't know if I can make to the pros?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, my first goal was to get to the States and play at the college level, and this goal didn't go uh, that well. I didn't get a chance to go there and play. So then, basically, when one door closes, the second one opens, and I got a chance to play in the Slovakia top division, and I took it immediately. I didn't. I mean, I did hesitate, of course, but like that was the best chance for me at that point.
Can
So
you can you little bit explain or like open up in that when you knew that you wanted to go to college, like that was your first option and second option was to go pro, right?
yeah.
Can you open up a little bit when you knew 100% you're not going to college? How did you feel? Did you think that, okay, it's done, my career is done? What did you feel?
So my first year when I was a pro, I didn't have a contract. I was just basically playing with the team. I was on a half professional contract. That's how we say. So I would still have a chance to go to the States, and I had an offer in 2 years ago in December, and I was supposed to leave from the club, but it was too late to start doing all the visa and doing all the things that I needed to go to get there. So at the time that I realized the dream of being a college player was over. I was already a pro, and I have great coaches in my team. I have really great teammates, and I loved I loved being a pro. I loved that I could stay there, and then the only thing that I would take care of was basketball. So it kind of it it didn't hurt me as much as I thought it would hurt me. That the dream will not happen, and I just uh, I just basically transferred to being a full-time pro, and I decided that one, as I said earlier, one door closes and second one opens. So there was nothing to be really sad about. I have opportunities to play. I have everything I needed, to get better every single day. So I was in a really good spot at the time, so I didn't really was sad that my
Yes.
dream didn't come true.
So you were not sad because you had like another goal, or like you were okay, that wasn't the goal. I thought it was, but actually it wasn't. Like I'm just interested, like it didn't, like if it was a goal, how you said it was, I wasn't really sad. So I'm like interested because
You know, yeah, you have a really good point there. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was being a pro all the time. Like
yes.
trying to like earn money from basketball. Like that you can basically say that basketball is your job. But I think, me personally, it was just the situation I was in at that time was maybe better than being a college player.
Okay, so that's also one thing for people to understand, that like, hey, sometimes as you said, one door closes and you like think like, oh my God, that was my dream. I mean, you can still try and go and chase it, but also do not neglect other options, because you might not know that you wanted that. Who said? I think like Henry Ford said, if I did ask people, if I had asked people what did they want, they would have said to me that they want faster horses, but he created a car. So in your case, maybe that was the faster horse, but you got a car right now and you're like, you're happy.
Mhm.
Now let's go back to the before you went to play pro. Let's think about maybe like a year or two before. Mm, what did you do in terms of like basketball, in terms of weight room? Let's start with the basketball. How often did you train? Did you train all summers, all year? Like, how often did you train?
So basically, 1 and 2 years ago, before I turned pro, I was in GBA. So that was my basically uh, the first 2 years that I stayed away from my family. And the process was we had lifting 4 times a week, and then fifth time was optional if we had games on the weekends. And then basketball wise, we had twice practice every single day. Uh, but my second year, it changed because that's when COVID started, and it really affected everybody. And first, I think 4 or 5 months, I was home and I was working out twice a day. Once a day, I was either running or working on my jump. And then second practice was always basketball. So even though like COVID kind of kept me out of Czech Republic, and then I didn't get a chance to be there in practice because everything was closed at the time, I found another way to get better while being home and working on myself from home. So that really helped me. But yeah, well, to answer your question, it was twice a day basketball and 4 times a week weight room.
Yeah. At least, probably you were just doing
Yeah.
push-ups also in your room because you're crazy about the weight room. I just have to kick you out of the weight room every single day. Um, but you were saying that you did basketball at home. You did by yourself. You were watching videos. You like watch your film, other film.
Uh, watching a film, there was always something extra that not everybody is doing it. Not everybody can learn from it. It's kind of like individual thing, I would say. But when all gyms were closed back in my city when COVID hit, I was just going outside, and then we have my friends who were also playing basketball, not just on that level, who just went out and played. So I just always went there, and then we play some pickups, So that was basically the part of the basketball sessions.
Mhm. Is this in you because you decided to be pro, or you had this also before, that you like always find solution, and if you COVID hits, you no court, you go outside, no weight room, you go run and work on your vertical?
I think I'm just the type of person. I'm not trying to look for the easiest way. And I also remember when I first got home from GBA when the COVID started. I remember that I talked to you about this, and you sent basically all the players that went home some type of schedule of weightlifting. Like I did lunges with a backpack filled with books. So it's always about finding not the easiest way, but like you have to find a way to get better at some point.
I have it definitely on my stories, like many videos of you guys doing home workouts. I remember Thomas Grund was holding like a baby kitchen in his hands and doing this. Like I remember like some guys were like carrying wood logs,
Yeah.
I remember like Estonian guys. So that's very, I cannot put it on the in below in comments, but I remember that. And as you said, like you always find solutions. So it's really good. And then in terms of strength and conditioning, why you were doing it like 4 times a week? Why not two? Why not one? Why do you even do it?
So at that time, you know, you have young body, or I had at that time I had young body,
To still have
and
it.
yeah. So you know, it's kind of being aware of what you need, and at that time, I really loved to going to the gym and destroying my body. Just it was part of the everyday routine that I had at that time, and we had an opportunity to go lift weight every single day, and I tried
This
to get
which
the
age is it?
I think it was 18 and
Okay,
18,
18. And
19,
when did you start lifting weights?
15. Well, I started
15.
lifting 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah, with I had the chance to get to the gym every single day, and even though I wouldn't lift weight, I would work on some mobility and then some prehabs of injuries. So there's always something a player, a pro or a young player can do for them to get better. So I think that was one of the reasons that I get to the gym.
So you
That's
were
why.
doing it because you felt it was helping you
Yeah,
on
yeah, of
basketball?
course. Yeah, I mean,
How?
you have to be prepared first physically, because you can be as skilled as you can be basically, and then somebody who is stronger is gonna stand in front of you, and he's just gonna move you the way he wants you to move, and then you will not get past him. So, and by getting to the gym, it don't mean necessary just lifting weights and getting stronger. It also means like doing explosiveness, jumps, changes of directions. It all comes with this. So everything is part of one thing, that you have to be physically ready to be play, and then also being ready as a skill player to be ready to play. So it all comes in one hand, I would say.
And if, like, say you have to be physically ready to play basketball, did you feel this only in pro when you turned pro, or you felt more in pro, or you also felt while you played, let's say, under 18 or 19?
I mean, you definitely feel it more when you turn pro. It was not
Expand a little bit, please, on this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
and then we continue.
So when you turn pro, you have no under 18, under 19, whatever categories. You are gonna face a grown man, and then when you are not physically ready, the grown man will beat you every single time because they are smart, they are experienced, and they know how to use their body. So if you're gonna face somebody who's slower than you, let's say, you know, he knows that he is slower, but he will use his weaknesses or your weaknesses, and he will kind of like, you know, like push you. He will use his hands, his body. So you have to be, uh, I would say, more physically prepared if you are gonna be pro or if you are turning pro. But when I was in Czech, there was my under 19. I was playing in under 19 category, and that's where I felt I have the advantage to compare to other players because they were not as physical as me at that time, you know. And then it kind of helped me when I was turning pro, and then most of the players have to like lift more weight, and then they realize this later in their careers, you know.
Yes, yes. I mean, this is like one of the things that I think is very important to point out because when I mean, I never turned pro, you know, I cannot say, but based on the experiences, like when you are turning pro, when you're like 19 years old, even though you have played basketball for 10 years, probably those who are pros, they have played for maybe like instead of 10, maybe for 20 years. So they are 10 years ahead of you in terms of basketball. And then if they also like 10 years ahead of you of like physical preparation, so you are lacking then not only physical capabilities, you always will lack skills, basketball, IQ, like always. But then you also lacking physicality, as you say, and then you go pro and you like they set the screen, you hit the
Yeah.
screen and you really feel it probably.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right with this. And for me, this was the reason why the transferring to pro wasn't that hard, because when I turned pro, when I got my first contract, uh, I didn't have to do all these things in weight room to strengthen my body and to be ready for the physicality during the games, because I already had it. So I could focus on basketball and skill and decision making more. You know, I could put my focus more on basketball at that time, and then I would just maintain the physicality and everything that I had, basically the strength and the, let's say, ability to jump also, or being vertical, being good defender. I also, just kept that way. I just maintained that part, and then I could focus on basketball more.
Yes, yes, very, very smart. But like also, I want to point this out because I know you personally, and I know that you had strength and conditioning coach that you were working with. When you would go back, let's say from Czech Republic back to Slovakia, you would have your coach. So when did you start working with coach, and like what did you do? Like tell a little bit about that because it's important because you're not doing it only on your own or watching Instagram.
Yeah. So when I was 15, 16, that's where I basically decided that I want to be a pro, or I want to be a college player. When I wanted to take basketball seriously. First, I think my first year I had one coach, and then when I was 17, I basically met my coach. Right now, I mean, he's still my coach, uh, and I always work out with him during the off season. And when COVID hit, that was the also like really good for me, because he has his own gym, his own weight room. So even though everything was closed, I had the opportunity to go there and work on lifting weights and getting stronger. So it it really helps to have somebody like this. And during the off season, every single time, the first thing we do, we look at the time that I have until the next season start. So let's say last season my season ended in April, and the next season starts, the earliest is August. So let's say we have 3-4 months that you can work on getting better. But sometimes, or many times with pros, you still need to take couple weeks off. Like you just have to turn off. Just don't think about basketball. get your body right. I was at that time I was injured last season, so I had to get healthy. So first couple weeks I was just lifting upper body, and then trying to heal my knee. My knee was injured, so I was trying to put my focus there. And then we started a program that first month we started lifting really heavy, and then the next month we started lowering the reps, lowering the sets, and then we started going into more explosiveness series. And the last month was mostly about explosiveness, jumping, improving your vertical, improving your uh, side steps,
Yes,
like improving the hip
lateral.
mobility also. Yeah, yeah, ladder movement. Yeah.
Yes,
So that was,
and
yep.
you were, why, I know the answer what I would say, but what would you say? Why is it important to work with the coach? In your case, why was it important for you to work with him?
So it really has, I would say it has two sides, because first one is when I'm working by myself, I know this, that when I don't see coach, you kind of feel a little bit tired, lazy. So you kind of put a little one set down, one rep down. uh, but also that's from my perspective. And then also the knowledge of coach, it's really important that you do the exercises right, you do the right exercises, and then that he's always there to help you if you do something wrong.
Yes, yes. I mean, you learned it, the technique, and then you keep it probably like now he's not with you, but you like probably still do what he taught you, like in correct
Yeah,
form. You keep
yeah.
it for the rest
You
of
have
your
to have
life.
the correct basics.
Yes, yes. And let's, I'll ask you this question. Like, knowing what you know now, like you are with this much experience, but you are age, let's say 16. Would you do something differently in terms of basketball and then in terms of like strength and conditioning? You have like 2 years to prepare yourself for turning pro.
Hmm. It's 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 a good question. You know, maybe no. I think I did. I think I did most of my steps right. I would really have to think about every single thing into detail. I think I did most things to be ready when the opportunity comes.
Yes. I mean, I'm happy to hear like that you would not. Many people would say like, "Oh yeah, I would have done many things differently. Maybe um, I would watch film, or more film. Maybe I would focus on the weight room. I didn't focus, but I mean, you were doing those steps. You were going out. COVID hit. You still found a way to go on the court and play pickup basketball. You found a weight room that you could go and still work on your body. Do you work somehow like mentally on the mental side of the game?
Uh,
Coping with stress of the games, and you mentioned before we started the call that that sometimes like you have very good practice but then you're not well in the games. How do you cope with
mhm.
that?
Like you have to learn from your own mistakes. That's really uh, one thing that not many players do. And it's really important that you look back at what you did, uh, and you don't only look at the good things, you also look at the bad things, and you're trying to improve them, or just put them away, so you don't do them next time. The same situation will happen. But preparing mentally before game, you kind of, when you play, let's say 30, 40 games every single year, it kind of go away. When you have, couple years, you play pro, you play, you don't play twice, once two in 2 weeks. It kind of goes, we play sometimes right now 2 games every single week. So uh, you don't have time to be stressed about something, because in 3 days there is new game, and you have to forget about all the bad things you did the previous game, because the new game is starting in 3 days, and the score is going to be 0-0 at the beginning, so those are the things that are just not going to change. But when I was younger, I remember, like, I used to be stressed because, like, you have 1 or 2 games in 2 weeks, and there's always, the thoughts that you have pre-game, that okay, like, I worked on this and this, and now I want to implement it to the game. And then, after the game, you look at the game film, and then you see the things you did wrong, and then it just bothers you throughout the week, and then you're thinking about it, like, yes, I have to get better at these things, and I have to do this more, and it kind of still is the same right now. But I think my view on this is a little bit different, because I am aware of the things that I am lacking at right now, and I also know what my strengths are. So I'm just trying to work on my weaknesses, and then in games, when the game comes, I'm trying to push in my strengths.
Yes. And do you remember any, maybe something will like stand out for you, any like really bad game, either pro or youth, that you beat yourself up after that game?
Uh, yeah, one game really comes to my mind. It was my first year when I was pro, and my first year I didn't get much playing time. Like
How many
I
minutes
was
are we
not,
talking?
man, zero. I was playing only when we needed to foul, or when we were down 30 or up 30. So that was the only time that I was getting playing time.
And
And
like before you continue, how many minutes approximately you play now, and how many years after is this?
so this is 2 years after,
Yes.
and I am playing right now 20-25 minutes a
Okay,
game,
so
plus
first year you
minus.
played basically zero, third year you are playing 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, so continue about that very interesting game.
So it was I think 5 or 10 seconds before halftime, and the game was tight, and we have our point guard with the foul trouble. So coach looked at the bench, and then he pointed at me. Go ahead, go in the game. If you have to make a foul, make a foul. If no, just play good defense. That's all we ask from you.
For those 5 seconds.
For those five seconds, and then, like you sat on the bench for 20 minutes. Your body is stiff, you are not stretched, not ready, nothing. And then you have to come out, and you have to guard the best player on that team, because that's who you sub right now. You sub the point guard, so you have to guard their point guard. So that was my 10 seconds being on the court. The point guard gets the ball. I'm trying to play really good defense. I'm in front of him. He made one move, went right past me. Coach told me if he will go by me, just foul him. I just push him from behind. He just throw the ball out to the air, fell on the ground. Refs call intentional foul, and he makes the basket. So now it's a tie game. He make a basket. We are down two. He gets 2 free throws. That's or one. I think one. And then they got the ball again from the half court. They have still 5 seconds on the clock. So we down three right now. We have one possession. The point guard gets the ball, beat me again. I didn't foul him because I didn't want to get another foul. Kick it to corner three, down six. We go to locker room. So I came to the bench. I sat on the bench, and I was like, okay, so this is the last time I played this season. I was really mad, but there is nothing you can do about it. You're trying to make the best thing out of your opportunity, but sometimes it just goes the bad way. And the best thing probably is that you just have to forget about it. you know I'm happy that nobody was that mad about me. I was not like the reason, like everybody was shouting at each other because everybody was mad. And I was kind of like took away from it because I was young at that time. I was rookie, and it was just 10 seconds. So I really have to forget about this but you know, sometimes it always comes up to my mind.
Thank you very much for sharing this. It's I cannot imagine like this really happening and what would go in my head. But yeah, I mean, I bet everyone has it. I might need to, I will need to include this question into like to keep this question in mind, like what is the worst, because everyone has it, and we tend to forget like those good moments, and we remember like bad negative
Yeah.
moments more often. But even though it's bad, it's funny. It's funny. So
on the
look,
on the
huh?
other side, I can see how I improved throughout the years.
Oh my, yeah. Look, so last question for you. What would you advise for young players that want to go pro in next couple of years? Let's say again, now they're 16, just maybe they aren't like you, who are gym rats spending time there. Maybe they are, I don't know, but what would you advise for them?
So we have a couple of them on our team. So I know I'm trying to talk to them, like navigate them sometimes when we talk to each other, uh, what they should do. And I would say uh, the same thing that I did. I just worked myself to sleep basically. I was tired, but I just kept going. And I know sometimes it's really hard mentally, and when you're gonna turn pro and you will be sitting on a bench, it's gonna be even more harder mentally. But you just have to stay thinking positive, uh, and making the steps every day to be better version of yourself than you were yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just simple like that. Be a little bit better than you were um, yesterday. One quick question before, because like I work with those young people, young kids who want to go either college or go pro, and one of the parents said to me that his son, he's like, they don't really stretch. He just goes. Were you doing this also? Like you don't stretch and do this exercises, or you knew from the beginning that it's must? I mean, I know that you do it right now,
Yeah.
but were you doing
Uh,
that when you were young?
when I was young, I mean, when I was in GBA, yes, because we had to warm up with you every single before every single evening practice. But me by myself, I started doing it when I turned pro.
Okay.
But it's you see other players, you see older players doing it, and then you start questioning that, like, okay, like why are they doing it? And then uh, you kind of talk to them, like, yo, like what's up? Why are you doing this and this? And then they told me like, man, I'm 30 years old. My body feels 50. So I have to take care of it. So that's something that's really helpful, especially for young players. The sooner you begin, the better it will be for your body when you're going to turn 30 plus.
Yes. Okay. I'll send this right to him. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to share? Anything, or maybe you would
Uh,
like to say?
I know that we talked about this before. It's something that there is a really big difference between turning pro and actually being one. Because, you know, any player that's playing in their country or wherever can turn pro, because it's as always, the clubs are trying to find new talents that are basically close to their city, or in Slovakia is whenever, because we are a smaller country. uh, so it's not that hard to get a contract, let's say, but it's much harder when you actually get to the point that you start playing, and then you have to provide for a team, and you have to learn how you can be effective in the minutes you get, even though you're getting little minutes. And that was something that I was trying to learn my first year, because my first year, I was just thinking, okay, I will get to this league and I will average now 20 points. It will be easy. And then we started playing preseason games, and I didn't even play in preseason. And I was just sitting on a bench 40 minutes, and then you come up to coach, you talk to him like, "What's up?" Like I thought this is preseason, and then he told me like, I have to realize that this is not under 19 anymore. Like we are playing right now to win, and we have to find the best, subbing, the best starting five, let's say. So he has to try those things also. And if I want to get on a court, it's not gonna be that I will get on a court to score points. It's gonna be about the little things, about the details, about the things that nobody else wants to do. Defense, talking on every single screen, talking that you are in a help position, so the guy who is guarding the ball knows it, and those little things that are, it's just the dirty work. That's how you get to the court, uh, especially when you are young. Unless you are Luka Doncic type player. When you can go ahead and you can score triple double in EuroLeague when you're 17. But for players like me, let's say, that lack that talent, that scoring ability, the vision, you have to do the little things, the things that will get you on the court first, playing good defense, pressing the ball, getting the rebounds, crushing the ball every single time, talking. So those are the things that will get you on the floor. And then after that, you can start thinking like, okay, like now I'm doing all these things that are keeping me on the floor. Now I can think a little bit about myself, like where I can get my spot up threes, or when I can drive, when I can cut. And that's a really big step after getting to the pros.
Hey, this is amazing. I was just like eating your words. I hope everyone was, because exactly as you said, like that dirty work, those little things like talking, um, I don't know, setting the screen, maybe even holding someone a little bit, that you would have like that somebody else would have like an open shot. And maybe we spectators, we don't see it, but everyone on the course and coach, everyone sees that. So yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it was very nice to connecting with you again, and we
Yes, sir.
keep eye on you. I hope no more bad games for you. At least
Hopefully.
not. I mean, you set the standard for bad game very, very high. I will not challenge you with this. But thank you very much one more time.
Thank you. Also appreciate you, Stan.